Coming to you Friday, November 29th, the day after Thanksgiving. We have a special guest. I think this is the first time that the Westbound and Down podcast is doing this, but we have our boy Maxie on the podcast today. One of the only Bay Area Buffalo Bills fans, but Max, welcome to the pod, my man.
Welcome,
Boys,
Max.
thanks for having me. I think all the listeners got a little intro of me on Monday or Tuesday's pod from Sage. I'm the 24-year-old that threw his life away with getting engaged, but I'll let Chase give. I'll let him give his intro. It's his podcast.
Thank you, Max. So a lot of people
Thank
don't
you
know
for
this
having me
coming
as
off
well.
of the Grant Cohn. So we did just have our first appearance on Grant Cohn, and clearly I was playing away games. I don't have a lot of similar takes to Grant Cohn. Sage, on the other hand, was the media darling. He was the Sean McVay of the Grant Cohn podcast that we recorded yesterday.
Chase, I think you got DJ Quayle's, Ellen DeGeneres, Brock Purdy's stepbrother.
They were, oh man, they were going after me.
Not
a clown
Sopranos
with a
fans in
punchable
the
face.
chat.
I know. I mean, when you're playing away games, it's tough. Like, I knew going in there that I was not going to be the crowd favorite, but it really makes you harden up when you see all these comparisons. They don't pull any punches on Grant Cohn's show.
Maybe the Niners' run defense needs to look at some YouTube comments every now and then. Maybe that'll help them harden up, Chase. But
You think
Maybe.
Debo reads the comments in his pod?
hell no.
He shouldn't. I'll tell you that much. But, all right, so let's get into the preview a little bit. Like we brought up, we're going to bring up the Niners-Bills game, and then we're going to get into the four best bets. Up one game on Sager, but just a little info coming in after we recorded the last podcast, giving you the recap of the Packers game, the injury reports. So we actually did get some good news today. So Brock Purdy was thrown around in the Friday practice, and Brandon Allen had the scout team jersey on. So it seems like that's given the sign that Brock Purdy's going to be the starting quarterback on Sunday, which we're going to get into it. But if Brock Purdy wasn't going to play, it was basically going to be curtains for the 49ers. The players who did not practice, we had Trent Williams once again, Aaron Banks, Jordan Elliott, both in concussion protocol. Nick Bosa has not practiced at all. And an injury has popped up for Diamador Lenore. Guys, that's not a good sign for the Niners if Diamador is going to be out as well, with maybe Bosa and Trent also going to be out another game.
Yeah, I mean, it piles on. We'll get into it with Max in a little bit, but you're getting the Bills at a time where they're getting healthy. Your team still continues to get more and more banged up each week. You're going into a snow game that never favors well for a team that's banged up. I mean, it's on schedule, right? Like, this is what we expect every week. Someone else popping up on the injury report. This time it's kind of coming up in bunches, but we'll see. We'll see how we could fare against the Bills, if we fare against them at all. Max, I know you'll give us a little insight on what the Bills are bringing to the table, who's coming back for them, but not good if you're a Niners fan. You have basically Pro Bowlers out at every level of the offense and the defense. It's just something tough to rebound from.
Yeah, so really quickly here. So we all know the Niners are going to play the Bills on Sunday Night Football. Mike and Chris are going to be on the call. The Niners are going to Buffalo. So I got the weather report right here. It seems like around game time, it's going to be 28 degrees, 8-mile-per-hour winds, 35% chance of snow. We brought this up. This is the Niners season, essentially, unless if you're Deebo Samuel, who went on the Cleats and Convo podcast and announced that no matter what, even if they lose this game, if they win the next two division games, they're going to be on top. As we all know, that's not the case. This is essentially a must-win for the 49ers. Tough spot, going to play the Bills in Buffalo. The Bills are 9-2. Maxie, I think this is the time we should bring you in here. The Bills are coming off their bye and a season-defining win against the Chiefs. It seems like they're just humming right now.
They're humming right now. Even going into that Chiefs game, I felt like it was a lose-lose. It was either they were going to lose, AFC was going to be wrapped up, or they would win and Chiefs would still be the favorite in the conference. I still kind of feel that way. I've seen this play out the past 4 or 5 years. But that game gave me reason to be a little bit more optimistic. I think I think that everything's shooting up. Bills under McDermott 7-0 off the bye. I mean, I've heard you guys talk about it nonstop. Offensive line, defensive line, big weaknesses right now for the Niners. Bills are very strong in both those areas. They're getting Spencer Brown back this week. Offensive line fully healthy. Defensive line very deep. In a snow game, it's a trench game, and Bills are strong in the trenches, Niners aren't. So
You know what? You know what, Max? I'll say this. You have no right. You have no right to be negative about the Bills right now. After what we've been dealing with the 49ers, there's almost no reason for hope. There's no reason for hope. Like you said, I mean, the trenches are just been a nightmare for the 49ers. We've been injury riddled all year. Max, I'm thinking that this Buffalo Bills team, I think they're my pick to win the Super Bowl. After diving deep into them this week, I have underestimated them all year, but after seeing what they did against the Chiefs, that defense is starting to get a little more healthy. Josh Allen is the favorite. I have it right here. He's plus 150 right now to win the MVP.
Josh.
I think the Bills are plus 650 to win the Super Bowl. I get it. You beat the Chiefs in the regular season. You're still scared that once you get to January that it's going to be the same as always and the Chiefs are going to beat you in the playoffs. But I don't know. I think the Bills are scary, and the fact that the Niners have to play them this week is not appealing if you're a 49ers fan.
when it goes back, like you guys are kind of in that split mode with Shanahan right now, where you have half your fan base that is invested in him, the other half Sage Zababne, who wants him gone and never to coach the team ever
Grant
again.
Cohn as well. Grant Cohn and all of his little fucking
and
guys.
it was the same thing last offseason with McDermott. I'll be honest, I was the one that was on the get McDermott out of there. Like, he can't get past the Chiefs, and we need someone in there that could kind of reset the culture and do something. Instead, him and Bean just kind of cleared out. I mean, you got rid of Diggs. Everyone thought that was going to be the death blow. Tre'Davious White, Poyer, Micah Hyde, a lot of those like very familiar faces on the defense, they all moved off him, and they went younger. And it was kind of like the Chiefs a couple years ago. You get rid of a lot of the older familiar faces, and you go younger. Kind of think that's the nail in the coffin, but instead you could honestly say that this might be one of the better Bills teams in past 5 years. So
You could almost say that McDermott hijacked the plane that was going down and sent them back into clear skies, right?
some would say that. I'm sure he would say that as well. I think you and McDermott are on the same page as that one. But yeah, you have the two games this year against the Ravens and Texans back-to-back where you saw some of the weaknesses exposed a little bit. And ever since then, they've righted the ship 6 in a row. You have that Chiefs win coming off the bye. And it's hard to complain right now, especially seeing what you guys are going through. So
Hard to complain. So let's just dive into the Bills' offense a little bit. As we all know, Josh Allen's going to be leading the charge at the quarterback spot. But the Bills sneaky have some great weapons. So James Cook is a very underrated running back. They have Amari Cooper, Khalil Shakir, Keon Coleman as their wide receivers. Even though he's going to be out, you have Dalton Kincaid as a tight end, but you also have Dawson Knox as the backup. And the O-line is a top 10 O-line in the NFL. If you saw them against the Chiefs, they were moving against that Chiefs D-line that we all saw a couple weeks ago. That is a force to be reckoned with. They look like they manned up pretty 50-50 with them. Sage, this is probably one of the best offenses in the NFL, and you got the MVP leading the charge.
I mean, to go back on what you said, I don't think they have good receivers, good weapons at all. I just think it's Josh just makes it all happen. Like you said a few weeks ago, right? You give him scraps, he'll make whatever he wants with it.
They're
Like,
not elite, but they're good enough, man. That's all you need.
It's true, but what's so just like jarring about them is they upgrade the trenches. They kind of take a step back, like Max mentioned. You get Stephon Diggs the fuck out of town. It seems to have really brightened up that team. I mean, those first 3 weeks, Josh was saying, like, we just got a bunch of guys who play for each other. We got a bunch of guys who want to win, who don't care about stats. And you kind of see the boost like that has on the whole team. Like, you bring in Amari Cooper, 2 catches some weeks, against the Chiefs, I think he made only 2 catches, but both were insanely crucial. You got Khalil Shakir just eating up in the middle of the field, and everyone just does their job. Like, it seems like everyone was hyping up Keon Coleman. He goes out. They don't miss a beat. It just seems like this is the year of the Josh. And when you have that O-line to protect him, you have that D-line on the other end getting after the quarterback, and then you just have, like you said, the MVP of the league. They're a tough team to beat. I mean, they sleepwalk to 20, 30 points, and they play some good defense. You see it, as Max mentioned, you let the young guys eat. they start to get better as the year goes on. That's kind of what you want to see when you invest in the young guys. You get the old players out. I think this team was under the most fire, coming into the season, and they didn't panic. They stuck to their guns, and you got to respect it. I mean, McDermott grew with the team. They coached all these young guys up, and they really built like a well-rounded roster. It's just they don't have the big names that everyone knows, but they're still an issue. I mean, they're a tough out any week, so the Niners have their hands full, to say the least.
Yeah, and I mean, I think a lot of people came into the year expecting this to be a rebuilding year for the Chiefs or for the Bills. A little bit, because when he came in, a retool, I guess, but nobody was putting them on the same level as the Ravens or the Chiefs coming into the year. Nobody was picking the Bills to go to the Super Bowl, and you saw the past few years that was kind of a sexy pick to always go for Josh Allen and the Bills to take the next step. A little bit quiet this year. You brought up the defense a little bit, Sage. From what I saw in the tape that I watched, it seems like the D-line was the strength of this defense. Max, I'll be honest, not a lot of names that you would usually know on that Bills defense right now. What have you been seeing from this Bills defense? I guess more recently, because I know at the start of the year they were a little bit banged up.
Like you mentioned, that D-line right now is a strength. Very deep up front. You get Von Miller back. He had his 4-game suspension. You have Ed Oliver. You have Rousseau, who's had a great year. Epenesa's kind of just been that solid, steady role guy. And you just keep everyone fresh. You keep them rotated, and that's how they're able to stay effective through all 4 quarters. The 2 games that the Bills struggled, they were out without Bernard, and that was a pretty big loss. I mean, that's the speed of our defense. I know we were talking beforehand. The Bills, that's the one spot you can get them on defense is by having explosive playmakers. And Bernard is kind of the one that stops that. You noticed in the Ravens game, no Bernard, Derrick Henry took advantage of them and went up and down the field. I don't know if I see anyone on the Niners doing that to them.
Yeah, you know who doesn't have explosive playmakers? The fucking San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah,
I mean, you do have a couple guys, though. You have a George Kittle, who, if you're telling me that
explosive, though, is what we're saying.
For a tight end, he's pretty fucking explosive, Sage. And
we're
I mean,
saying like game breaking, like Xavier Worthy, like someone.
Ricky Goose Eggs. What about Ricky Goose Eggs? Past couple weeks,
exactly. If you could get on the fucking field.
I mean, the past few years, it's been CMC and Debo. Those are your 2 explosive playmakers, and you have one guy who has some Achilles issues, to say the least, and you have another one who is a little chubby, some would say. So,
Sage would say that.
I would just say he's a little. He reminds me of Zion Williamson. I've had this take. I swear to God, he's like a mini Zion Williamson. It's just like you never know what you're gonna get with this guy.
There's no gumbo in San Francisco though, so what the fuck is Debo eating to pack on a couple pounds?
Chipino, baby.
I feel like Debo Samuel doesn't hang out in North Beach too much. I feel like that's not his spot, if anything, that he would hang out in.
Max,
that's just me.
You do raise a good point where it's like in years past, like this snow game, this cold weather game, like it would bear well for the Niners. Like you look at that game in Green Bay, that time they went to Baltimore in the rainstorm, like those cold, like kind of mucky games. You had, I should say, playmakers who could get the ball behind the line of scrimmage and make magic happen, turn nothing into something. But I think that's where they lack now, and the Bills have those guys. You look at Ray Davis, James Cook, Josh Allen could run it himself, Khalil Shakir, and I think that's how this game's going to be won. It's going to be won in the trenches, quick little hitters, and you take it, see what you could do after the catch. Maybe it's a big Kittle game, but I don't know. Can the guy put the whole team on his back every single week? He's been trying to do it, but it hasn't been boding well for the Niners. It's turning into L's. So I don't know. Like I'm trying to talk myself into just not that they're going to win, but how could they even win? I don't know if you guys see a path for that, but it just seems like this has like a blowout written all over it, to say the least.
So let's do it like this, because I feel like we all know that the Niners have struggled all year with that D-line, especially that interior D-line is stopping the run game. You have that, a better O-line that you're going up against compared to Green Bay, who you played last week, and you got the MVP of the NFL. So in all honesty, let's be real. It's going to be hard for this Niners defense, how it's set up right now, looking like Nick Bosa is going to be out, to stop this Buffalo offense. I think if anything, we should bring up, what does the Niners offense have to do to move the ball, get points on this Buffalo defense? It's going to be hard, but Sage, anything that you could see with this Niners offense that gives you optimism they'd be able to move the ball, especially if Brock Purdy's going to be the one starting on Sunday?
Chase, we've been calling for it. I think the whole fan base has been calling for it. I've tried to avoid the topic because it's just so overdone in the Niners media, but it's got to be a running back by committee. Like we said, it's got to be that Earth, Wind, and Fire. Like, I want to see a little Garendo. I want to see a little Mason. I do want to see
What has you on Garendo? What the fuck does everybody want to have Garendo for? I haven't seen him do anything. He had that 80-yard burst against the Seahawks. I get it. I get people want McCaffrey. Speed. I get that people want Mason. You're telling me you want Garendo to take carries over McCaffrey? What the fuck are we talking about? Why?
That's exactly what I said. So
dude doesn't even know how to run a zone read.
Okay, so
makes the wrong read every single time. Look at the tape, man. That dude doesn't know what he's doing.
Chase, if you want to argue yourself, look at a mirror. Because that's not the point I'm making here. I'm saying you.
And what's your point?
I'm saying put him in the pass game. Like, get him. I'm not saying he's a good runner, but like I called 2 weeks ago, like how the Dolphins used to use Achane in the pass game. Like, he's got speed. The Niners traded up to get him. Clearly, Kyle Shanahan saw something, or else he's just another bust who's not going to touch the field. Then so be it. If he wants to be another Trey Sermon, Davis Price, the guy from LSU, then he could be that. But if you want to see what you got, like, the guy has speed. Get him in some space, like in these snow games. Max was saying their defense is slow, so why not try and get him some zone read runs? Maybe try and get some action in the pass game, some trickery. Get some two running back sets. Like, have a speedster, have McCaffrey, have Mason. I mean, just see what you could do. Where's the creativity in it? Just see what this guy can do to, like, break a big play, because you need it. The offense clearly lacks it. Like, if anything else they've tried hasn't been working, why not just try it?
Sage, I don't know if this is the right time to throw in Garendo and Mason carries, take away from McCaffrey when you're on the road against a team like Buffalo for your season.
So
like, I don't know if this is the time to be like, hey, we should get like Garendo 5-6 carries. That's all I'm saying. Like, why now?
Run heavy, like I mentioned, it's gonna be a run heavy game. A lot of short behind the line of scrimmage. So you want it to be in the hands of a playmaker. Just see what he could do. I'm saying, like, if it's shitty, you could pull him early, but you don't know what you have until you try it. Max, I don't know how you feel. Does anyone on this Niners offense scare you, like, to like break a big play or like turn the game around?
If you guys operate on offense the way you have the last 2 weeks, no. So that's the only reason. That's the only reason why I could see an argument for something like a Garendo, something like a Cowan kind of play, where the Bills have had a bye week to prepare. They watch the Packers film. They know everything about what you guys did last week. So you kind of have to think of something to throw them off. And like you guys have mentioned, if this is truly for the season, what do you have to lose at this point? You kind of have to throw something out there and see if it sticks. Like, it just takes one play against this Bills defense, and you want to keep the ball out of Josh's hands as long as possible. So you got to get creative. If you just run McCaffrey up the middle 20 times, I think the Bills are going to be just fine. So,
would you rather see an end around to Debo or a run to Garendo? Like, seriously, at this point, like, you got to switch it up.
You must be losing sleep over the thoughts of fucking Isaac Garendo taking carries on the Bills. I mean, are we serious here, guys? If I'm a Buffalo,
sleep about Debo taking carries.
Exactly.
Hey, trust me, no one's fucking asking for the Debo carries. No one's asking for the Debo.
But you're getting them.
You didn't get them last week. You didn't get them last week.
Thank God.
I think you are going to see a couple this week. I will say that. I think you're going to see a couple this week.
But that's what I'm saying, is because this is just a totally different game plan. Like, the Niners last week just fell behind so early that everything kind of got, like, thrown on its head, right? You couldn't move the ball that first series. You blink, you're down 10-0. Kind of got to switch it up, because with that backup quarterback, you kind of got to put some pressure on him, or else you're going to get blown out. That's what happens. I think the Niners are going to at least try. I mean, you're not going to go tit for tat with this Bills offense. You got to try and dominate possession. You got to try and, hold Josh Allen off, keep him on the sideline. You're going to do that with a run-heavy game, with these short, plays, death by 1,000 cuts, if you're going to win. I'm not saying this is the formula that they're going to do, but if I see any path of this team fucking winning or putting together a competitive game, it's got to be that game plan. You got to try and do that and get into the hands of playmakers. I don't want to see 20 pounds overweight wide receivers getting a ball in an end around that leads to just them getting back to the line of scrimmage. Like, I don't want to see it. And then they get one catch, do a little, like, fuck that shit, bro. Like, get some new blood out there. Get some fresh legs out there.
Okay, so this is what I'll say. Clearly, you're right, Sage. In order for the Niners to win this game, and this will be a big part of Kyle Shanahan's game plan, they're going to try to establish a run. We all know that with the Shanahan team, the number one thing to get the offense going is to get the run going. That opens up that Shanahan play action that everybody talks about. And that's going to be necessary in this game. But if we're being realistic here, we know Kyle Shanahan to be the guy that doesn't want to play rookies most of the time, especially in big situations. So even though you want Garendo, do you realistically see Kyle Shanahan taking carries away from Christian McCaffrey to run Isaac Garendo? I mean, we're all calling for Jordan Mason, but even to give the ball to Jordan Mason on a couple occasions. Do you see him making that change?
Bro, you're like a fucking leech just leeching onto Garendo here. I'm not saying give the guy 10
I
carries.
have to, because I think it's ridiculous that you're bringing up the fact that that's a key to the game plan. I'm sorry.
I'm just saying,
That's just me.
like, just get some game breakers in there. Like, try and get some speed on there because Max was saying the way this Bills defense could be exposed is by the speed. Like, they're slow. They're more of a, like, well-assured tackling team than a dynamic, fast, I guess, defense that's going to run around and helmets on ball type. They're going to swarm. I just think you got to get some speed out there, get some playmakers out there, and try and see, like, what you could do, like how you can, I guess, bend the defense, get some big plays after you possess the ball.
Any chance that Christian McCaffrey starts to get a little bit better and that this isn't a situation where this is injury related, but more or less related to the fact that he wasn't training before he started to play and really get going with that Achilles tendonitis, and that he's going to start becoming more and more of the Christian McCaffrey that we saw last year? Or do we think that that Christian McCaffrey from 2023 is not even going to get near in 2024?
Against the Bills' front four, I don't see it, especially with the weaknesses in the interior of the Niners' offensive line. I just think that's such a mismatch in the way that CMC's been running the ball. He just doesn't have the explosiveness to get outside right now. Everything that he's been trying to do just seemed like it's been up the middle, and I just don't see the Bills allowing that to happen. I think at the end of the day, when you're scheming up the Niners, you're still zeroing in on CMC, whether he's fully healthy or not. So if Kyle's not going to make an adjustment and try and do something different, I don't see a path for anything related to 2023 Christian McCaffrey. So that's why I've just kind of been harping on it. It's like, if there's nothing different, if they're looking at the tape from last week in the Packers game, if there's no adjustments made, if, like you guys have said about Shanahan, if he's not going to make adjustments, there's nothing to be afraid of right now with the Niners. The whole tape's out on them right now. So unless you guys think that this is going to be the game where both Achilles are magically better and he has that same burst back, I have nothing to be afraid of.
I mean, does he look like the same guy to you, Chase? You see, like, the next
No,
gen stats,
no,
like,
clearly
average
not.
Speed, top speed. I mean, he hasn't had a chance really to get to top speed, but it's a combination of things. Like Max said, like, that interior is so bad that the holes just haven't been there. And it's funny because for the Jordan Mason crowd, like, he did get that 16-yard carry, but we kind of talked about it in the last episode. That was the biggest hole. Like,
That was the biggest hole of the game by far.
And it was against a Packers defense that they don't fear you up front like that. Like, so
they were stacking the box though. Like, they were doing everything to stop.
That is one thing that's going to change. If Brock Purdy's going to play, okay, so this is actually a good part to bring this up. So Brock Purdy seems like he's going to play on Sunday.
Yeah,
we all know that Brock Purdy has had issues when it comes to rain or cold weather games, or even games that are 100 degrees and his hands get a little bit sweaty. Are we sure that if Brock Purdy comes in, say he has the same arm that he usually has, say that shoulder injury has essentially gone away and we're going to see the Brock Purdy roll into Buffalo on Sunday like we usually see, are we concerned with the weather and how that's going to impact his game compared to a guy like Josh Allen and how the weather is going to impact his game?
Some breaking news too. It seems like they already ruled out Trent Williams and now Aaron Banks as well. Deommodore Lenoir out. So that O-line's going to be busted
really?
up.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
So that O-line's busted up. Yeah, they just released it. So it's Trent Williams, Nick Bosa, Deommodore Lenoir, Aaron Banks, Jordan Elliott, all out. Aaron Banks got a concussion in practice, I guess.
Bosa update?
Bosa's out.
Bosa's out.
Bosa's out. I didn't expect Bosa to play. I kind of did expect Trent Williams to play. That sucks. I mean, Chase, to get back to your question, and then I'll try and loop this in here as we go, but
that's not good news for the Niners.
Yeah,
not
you know the answer here. Like, Brock Purdy struggles throwing in the heat. What do you think it's going to look like in snow, man? Like, he small hands, small guy, and you're going against a guy with, I'm going to say, the best arm in the NFL, if not second. I don't even know to who. So it's going to hit.
Dude has a hose.
Yeah, it's going to hinder the Niners more. I mean, Josh Allen, rocket arm, looks good in shorts. He just has the makeup of a snow quarterback, and he's used to it. He's played in snow games before. The only time I've ever really seen it bother him, it wasn't a snow game. It was that wind game against the Patriots where no one could throw the ball. It was just ridiculous. I think Mac Jones threw the ball 3 times that game, and they ended up winning. So you kind of just throw that one out, and I don't know exactly how the wind's going to be. I saw it's going to play a little bit of a factor, but what it's going to do to Brock. He already has a weak arm, hurt shoulder. You add the conditions, kind of goes back to what I was saying. You got to do it behind the line of scrimmage. You got to do short, quick hitters, get it to playmakers. That's how you're going to win this game. That's the recipe. Will it happen? Fuck no.
Okay, so that's going to be the situation when it comes to how the Niners offense is going to be able to put up points against the Bills defense. I guess before we do predictions, we talked about Josh Allen. We talked about that Bills offense. Now that we know that we're not going to have Jordan Elliott, we're going to probably have to throw another practice squatter in there on the interior D-line to start on Sunday. You're not going to have the best guy in your secondary, Diamador Lenore. I don't know if Mooney Ward's going to be coming back. I don't know if we have that info. He's not coming back.
I thought he was.
I thought he's not playing.
I think he might. I think he might be, Sage. He's started to practice.
I trust Max. Max has his nose.
It's been Bills Mafia has been very big on donating to his charity right now. You could always count on the Bills to do something like that, and
good guys
they've been
and
good
gals.
people. Just the best people in Western New York, and I guess in the Bay Area too. You got one, but yeah, everything I saw, I thought he was playing, but yeah, I mean, you guys are missing. At all 3 levels, you're missing your best pass rusher, you're now missing your best corner, and your best linebacker has a broken ankle. So
it's not good. I mean, when I look at this Bills offense, the only way I could see us not giving up 30 points is if Josh has a multiple turnover game. We've seen him have it a couple times this year. I think the last one was that game against the Colts where he didn't throw for any touchdowns, threw for 2 interceptions. What do the Niners have to do to fluster Josh? Because, as we all know, Nick Sorensen really never goes for the blitz. He always rushes 4, throws 7 back into coverage. The way that I look at it, if you're going to be doing that on Sunday, there's no way you're going to stop this defense. Is there any route for the Niners defense to potentially slow down Josh Allen?
Like you said, it's forcing him into those turnovers, and the best way to do that is by keeping him in the pocket. If whoever's going to step up for Bosa, whether it's Gross Matos or Floyd or whoever, got to keep him in the pocket. Once you let him roll out right, that's when he makes his most explosive plays. And you force him into the turnovers by getting the pressure up front and kind of making him a pocket quarterback. He doesn't want to do that. He wants to get outside, have the field open up for him, so he has that option to run, option to throw it downfield. And I think that's your path, right? It's keep him in the pocket, force him into a couple of those doy throws, as they like to say, and that's your plan. But like I said, with no Bosa, you guys have talked enough about your edge rushers outside of them, so I don't know how much confidence you have in that happening, but that would have to be your path.
You would have to almost bank on the slop of the game, like the snow, like playing a factor. Maybe you get a muff punt. Maybe you get a wide receiver, James Cook, Ray Davis, whoever it is, fumbling, like someone just else messing up. I mean, Josh is going to give you opportunities. We know that. We said the same thing with Love. Niners didn't capitalize on it. It's basically hoping you win the turnover battle, however it comes. I'd say by at least +2. I mean, if you told me the Niners were +1 on the turnover battle, I still don't think they win. It'd have to be +2, maybe +3. And just kind of hope that, I guess, you don't make the big mistake and that they do. I don't trust their kicker. I don't trust ours. I don't trust their special teams, but I don't trust ours. So you got to look at everywhere else, right? Defense, I kind of think we're at a disadvantage. Offense, we're at a huge disadvantage, it feels like. So you got to maybe count on the other factors of the game. The snow, some slop, and just getting those turnovers, hoping the ball bounces your way for once this season.
Okay, guys. I think it's prediction time. I just checked out Bovada. It seems like there's been no shift after ruling all those people out for the 49ers. The line's going to be Buffalo -6.5 at home on Sunday Night Football. The Niners are playing for their season. Damn near. I mean, there still is mathematically a route if they lose this game, but you got to say it's almost curtains if they lose. Sage, Max, what's the score on Sunday? What happens?
Max, take the floor here.
It's going to be a low-scoring one. I think the Bills are going to go very conservative. They feel the turnover issue is kind of coming back towards by going into the bye, so I think they're going to do kind of focus on making sure Josh takes care of the ball. I'm going to go 21-10 Buffalo Bills.
Okay, I like your range here. I'm in a different camp. I think the Bills are trying to run it up. They're the type of team, like I said on with Cohn the other day, I said they're more Lions than they are Chiefs. Like, they look to embarrass teams. They're not here just to win and control the ball. They want to embarrass you. They want to make a name for themselves. Like, I think they're trying to slowly, like we saw it, they're starting to run the ball less. I think they're gunning maybe for a Josh MVP, trying to put some points on. I think it's 3 weeks in a row now, putting up 30 off the bye. Niners staying in the East Coast. I think it's gonna be bad. I'm gonna go 27-10 Bills. I just think the Niners struggle to move the ball.
So I'm going to be a little bit closer than both of you guys. So what I think is going to happen, I think that now that we're sure that Brock Purdy's going to play, I think that the Niners are going to find a way to run the ball effectively on the Bills. I don't think they're going to be gashing this Bills D-line, but I feel like they're going to be able to get openings. I think that's going to open up the play action pass a little bit, like Max brought up. That back half of the Bills defense, a little bit slow in the linebacker position and the safeties. I think that Shanahan's going to be able to get matchups that are going to get open down the field. So I think that's going to allow for the Niners to put up some more points. But the reality is that in order to stop Josh Allen, you have Nick Sorensen trying to figure it out that way. With a team that doesn't have Nick Bosa, now we know that Diamador Lenore is not going to be playing. Jordan Elliott, the guy who we all accept is not any good, but is the second best guy that you have on your roster on that interior D-line, he's going to be out too. So now you're going to have to get Kevin Givens in there as a starter. Probably going to have to bring somebody back
Seems
up.
like you're talking yourself into a Bills blowout here.
Hold on. So what I'm saying is that I think the Niners are going to be able to move the ball, but I don't trust Nick Sorensen to stop this Bills offense at all. There's no realistic way that you could tell me, minus just a Josh Nightmare game, that we're going to get stops on this offense. So I think the Niners are going to keep it close. I honestly think that they're going to cover, but it's going to be a messy game. It's going to be a snow game, so there's going to be a lot of running the ball, taking time off the clock. I got the Bills winning 24-20. Going to be a tough one for Niners fans on Sunday night, but that's what's going to happen. I think we all have the Bills winning. That's going to be it for the Niners-Bills discussion. Guys, let's get into some 4 best bets. We're going to take a short break here and get back to you in a second. All right, so now we're going to get into the 4 best bets. Sager, last week, went 4-0, took the lead on you. I'm at 20-8. You're now at 19-7. Sage, you've had the lead all year. You finally gave it up. I've been on fire the past 5 weeks. How does it feel? It seems like you're not going to be catching up. It seems like I'm just going to be a shooting star the rest of the way.
I mean, I don't know if I gave up the lead or you just took it. I mean, you got to give credit where credit's due. I mean, I'm still shooting 3-1 here, but
I'm trying to be Mr. Humble over here. I'm not trying to,
It's ridiculous. I mean, Chase just having a historic run. I'm only 1 game behind. I mean, what is it, Chase? What's the records? You could.
So I'm at 20-8. Sage is at 19-7.
No.
Yes.
No. How do you have 1 more loss and 1 more win?
Fuck. You're right. Okay, so no, never mind.
Education right there.
So what would that be? So no, because we were both. Okay, sorry. You're 19-9. 19-9.
Okay, yeah, and you're 20-8.
And I'm 20-8.
It's got to be divisible by 4, so that makes sense.
Yes, you're right.
All right,
yeah,
so,
divisible by 4. Yeah, you're right. You got it.
So there you go. I mean, it's not like either of us are having bad weeks or a bad year. Just like a historic run.
I mean, we're up 22 units combined, guys. We're up 22 units combined. We're making money for the crowd here.
We just want you guys to come along for the ride. So I could get into my recap. Started off first game, Bears plus 3.5. I mean, talk about an all-time backdoor here. They had no business covering this game. Had a chance to win. I said it when I gave this pick. I said, I don't think they win. I said, I think it falls exactly on the number. So you got to take the points here. Home, divisional dog, hit. My philosophy worked. Where it didn't work was the Giants plus 5.5. I just thought, fade the public, fade the money. It seemed like everyone was on the Bucks. So I thought I'd get a little wise
What a
here.
stupid fucking pick. What a stupid pick. Everything was going wrong for the Giants. Dable, Daniel Jones. I asked you, Sage. I said, are you concerned with the fact that this Giants locker room is a complete, utter mess
I invited him.
that you can't compare to the rest of the league? You said no. They got blown out by 23 points at home. I think that was your worst pick of the year. It has to be.
Yeah, I know for sure because all my other losses have been relatively close. Like I got burned twice on a blocked field goal, I think.
We both had our Jets experiences. Everybody fell into that one.
Jets cards was pretty bad too. So
That was like a Bernie Madoff Ponzi scheme. Like even smart people fell into that one a couple times. You know what I mean? That's the New York Jets.
Lions 7.5. We didn't have the chance to do it this week. Coming to you after Thanksgiving, thank God. Maybe a blessing in disguise, but I'm just going to take the Lions whenever I think it's 50-50 or a little better. Just that offense is unstoppable.
It worked out for you the past couple weeks.
Yeah, it's worked out for this podcast. I don't know if we've yet to lose a Lions bet. I feel like
I've lost one Lions bet. I lost one Lions bet.
Yeah.
Seems like they're flawless
Fucking
whenever we
hook.
take them, but you're not going to get mad when you bet on a better team. You get mad at yourself when you take the fucking New York Giants and you lose. You're not going to get mad when you take the Detroit Lions and lose. Brings me to my last pick, Philly minus 2.5. This was my favorite bet, best bet of the week. Took it in every competition I had as my best bet. They're a unit. They're a juggernaut. The team just continues to get better and better each week. They're my pick to win the NFC. I hate how much I love this team. Like that's like the way I have to just like size it up. Is I hate how much I love the Philadelphia Eagles because they're fun to watch. They play the type of football I enjoy. They destroy you in the trenches, and they're strong at every like level of the offense. And now the defense with that secondary. I think they won 37-10. I don't have the final score up, but just an absolute whopping of the Rams. So
I forgot.
We can't complain.
I forgot what movie you quoted a couple weeks ago, Sage, but it was something similar where you said, "I just hate how much I can't quit you." What movie was that from?
That was Master Disguise. Or no. Yeah. I think Master Disguise.
Was it Master Disguise? I thought it was that one movie with Heath Ledger and Jake Gyllenhaal where they were both cowboys. Well, I forgot the name of that movie. What was it? You quoted it in a sports podcast a couple weeks ago.
Joker 2, the musical.
Joker 2? Are you sure Jack Twist, I think the character's name was that Joker 2?
Oh, Brokeback Mountain.
Oh, yeah. Yes, that's right. You quoted Brokeback Mountain in one of your picks a few weeks ago.
Yeah, the quote was, for Kyle Shanahan and Deebo Samuel, I said, "I don't know what it is about you, but I just can't quit you." And I don't know, but that might be me with Philly. Who knows?
Okay, so let's carry on. So Sage, that was Sage's picks. That was Sage's movie reference of the week. So now we're going to go into my picks from last week, a little bit of a recap. We did Dolphins -7 against the Patriots. What I said is that I love Drake May. I love him. You know what I don't love? The rest of that team. The Dolphins, they just played last night. They lost, so you got to temper the expectations a little bit, but the offense was humming. Their defense is very underrated. I said, I'll lay the 7 points, and they blew out the Patriots. Broncos, my honeypot all year. My favorite team to bet, Bo Nix. I said this about Baker Mayfield and Bo Nix. Bo Nix is better than Baker Mayfield. Bo Nix has always been better than Baker Mayfield. Bo Nix will always be better than Baker Mayfield.
Max, right here.
Yeah, Max, let me get your thought on that because you came at me. You came at me for that take.
Yeah, Baker Mayfield won a playoff game for the Cleveland Browns, and that's all I need to rest my case on. When
Bo Nix hasn't had a chance to do that yet. You just don't know.
Bo Nix is being coached by Sean Payton, who won a Super Bowl for the New Orleans Saints, who were an unserious franchise before he got there. So I'm just saying, if we're going to go off situations, franchises, I think Bo Nix is probably a little bit more catered to than Baker ever was.
30-year-old rookie.
Yeah, like
24 years old.
Sure,
just saying, not 30 years old.
Call it what you may.
Ronnie James is 18.
Yeah.
Is he really?
Yeah, he's 18. Probably 19.
Shout out. Is he still on the Lakers roster? What's going on with him?
I think he's on the G League Lakers.
Playing home games in the G League. He will not travel with the team.
LeBron's son can't even make the Lakers roster. Nice. Okay.
Raiders moving the ball. All right, Chase. Sorry, finish up here.
All right, so let me just finish it up. So then I did the Seahawks -1 against the Cardinals. The line started out Cardinals -1, then it switched to Seahawks -1, then it switched back to Cardinals -1.
You told us, Chase.
Then it went to Seahawks -1.
No one
I
knew.
said nobody knows what's going to happen. I said nobody knows what's going to happen except for me. Grab onto the cape. Don't let go. Seahawks won by 10. The Cardinals only scored 6 points. I told you, they're Jekyll and Hyde. You can't trust them. Everybody's buying into them. Not me. Pick the Seahawks. They're going to be looking good. I think that they're probably the team that the Niners actually have to worry about the most in the NFC West. And then to cap it off,
I will never worry about Geno Smith.
we did not worry. We did not watch this game because we were actually recording, but the Ravens took on the Chargers. It was the horrible on Monday night. And I said, just give me the Ravens. Give me the Ravens. Give me Lamar. Give me Derrick Henry. And turned out that they're a better team than the Chargers. They're a better team than the Chargers straight up. I laid the 2.5. They ended up winning by, I think it was 7. So that was a good pick by me. Went 4-0 on the week. Let's get into the 4 best bets for this week. Sager, go ahead, start off. Give me your first pick.
I think 4-0,
week.
Chase. Why don't you have the floor here?
You want me to have the floor?
Yes, sir.
It's Chase's podcast. I mean,
Yeah.
as a new entry to the pod, it's clear who's the head honcho here. So I think
Yeah,
you have
thank you for
to,
having us on, by the way. So please.
Yeah,
give us
no
your
problem,
picks.
guys. So
If you want, just give us all 4, and then I'll just post mine on the social medias.
no, it's okay. These guys are a
Okay.
couple smart asses. They're giving me the floor, so I'm going to fucking speak if I'm getting the mic right here.
I didn't know we were
So,
being clowns today, Chase, but go ahead.
So for my first pick, I'm going down to ATL. All right, I'm going down to Atlanta. The Chargers are taking on the Falcons. The Chargers are favored by 1.5 points. Guys, let's be honest here. The Chargers have the better quarterback, the better defense, the better head coach. I'm taking the Chargers minus 1.5. I think that's one of the best bets of the week. Let's be real here. This Chargers defense is great. They did get lit up a little bit by the Ravens. Not going to lie. They did get lit up a little bit, but I don't trust Kirk Cousins to move the ball that much. I think that we see that this Falcons defense is the 25th ranked overall defense. So I don't think the Chargers are going to have any problem running the ball, passing the ball in this team. All I got to lay is 1 point, basically. If the Chargers win by 2, I win. I'm not scared of that crowd in Atlanta. That's not some kind of major home field advantage. Chick-fil-A is not even going to be open, okay, guys? Chick-fil-A is closed on Sunday. Give me the Chargers minus 1.5. I got Justin Herbert and Jim Harbaugh against 40-year-old Kirk Cousins and Raheem Morris all day. Give me the Chargers.
I had this as my best bet of the week as well, Chase. This
Ooh,
is
okay.
This is my first one.
Guys, we're going to have a lot of these this week probably because we only have so many games to pick from.
Yeah.
So you got the Chargers as well, Sage. Tell me why.
No, I'm on the Falcons. No, I'm kidding.
Oh.
I'm on the Chargers. I texted Max before this. I was like, basically like, what am I missing? I mean, you got the better quarterback. Put him in a dome. I got the better defense. And what did I tell? Like, what have I been saying? I'm not even pro whoever it's been the Bucks. It's been the Chargers now. It's been the Broncos 2 weeks ago with Chase. I'm just pro fading the Falcons. I don't know what the line makers, what anyone really sees in this team. I mean, they think it's an explosive offense. It's really not. They're a very limp dick offense. There's no real play call. I mean, they have no identity. They just try and, spam Bijan, get a little Kyle Pitts here and there. Drake London, I guess. They have Mooney, but I just like this Chargers team coming off a loss. I get it. Short week, traveling all the way to Atlanta, but you have the better quarterback. You have the better coach. You have the better defense. You have a team with an identity playing for something more meaningful. And on top of that, you coming off a loss. So they're hungry. Hungry dog runs faster. Throw out the bye week. Throw out the home dog. I like the Chargers here as well, Chase.
Max, are you going to be the Falcons savior, or do you agree with us that the Chargers are the play there?
You guys nailed every point about it. Better coached team coming off a loss. It doesn't matter if it's a short week or not. Better quarterback. Better offensive line against probably the worst defensive line in football. The Chargers are absolutely the play here. I think that's a clean sweep across the board for us 3 on that one.
There we go. So, Sage, in all honesty, that was my pick. Why don't you just give us your next pick? We'll kind of do a little bit of a snake situation here.
Okay, yeah. So I'm going to go another team coming off a primetime loss here.
Oh, fuck.
Do you have the Rams?
I don't. No, actually, I don't. Go ahead.
Oh, okay, perfect. Traveling to go see another NFC South opponent. I got the Rams minus 2.5. I mean, the Rams are playing for something here. I don't know exactly what the Saints are playing for. The Rizzler, like I said to Chase, good coaches off a bye is scary. Bad coaches off a bye is the complete opposite. The Rizzler, I mean, I don't know what bump he's going to get here.
You're telling me the Rizzler's a bad coach?
I'm not saying
2-0, baby.
I'm just going to say he's
Never
not a good
lost.
coach.
Never lost.
Yeah. Saints playing for nothing. I mean, they're better off losing here. I think after the bye, it's basically just kind of figuring out what's next coming for next season. They have no real reason to win this game, I guess. It's going to be a full strip down, but going to the other side of the ball, I think the Rams kind of got embarrassed. I like a good coach, good quarterback, coming off an embarrassing loss. You just kind of got to bet him here. I mean, I lay less than a field goal in a dome, which I think actually benefits the Rams more than it benefits the Saints. I think the way that Rams defense got embarrassed, it's going to, help them, boost them up a little, and I like the Rams here, -2.5.
Okay, so this is what I'll say, Sage. I mean, I thought that this wasn't going to be one of my best bets. You got the Saints coming off of a 2-game win streak. They're coming off their bye week too, so they got a little bit of rest.
Yeah,
Darren Rizzi, I mean, I get it. He doesn't have the pedigree that a lot of coaches in the NFL has, but it seems like he's kind of changed the mojo with this team, and the Rams are coming off a Sunday Night Football game where they got their ass kicked. That defense just got ran through by the Eagles, okay? The Superdome, one of the toughest places to play, and I feel like with this mojo, Rizzi, the Saints, they're going to be hyped up, that New Orleans crowd. It's going to be tough for the Rams, but I can't bet against Sean McVay, Matt Stafford in the spot. When you're telling me that if they could beat the Saints team by a field goal, that's enough to cover, I got to go with the Rams too. I think it's a good pick by you. I'll tell you this, Sage. If this line was 4.5, no, it's not one of my best bets. Okay. I'm just agreeing with you here. But if this line was 4.5, do you still pick the Rams to cover, or is this now a Saints team that you pick?
No, I'd be a stay away. I mean, I just like getting the field gool, Like I said, you get the better defense, better coach, better quarterback in a dome with better weapons, going to be able to move the ball on them. That Saints defense is atrocious. They're going to be able to run it on them. They're going to be able to pass it on them. I think if you get some pressure on Carr, I just think this is a perfect buy low spot on whoever's playing the Saints. I think Vegas is overreacting a little to what they saw. Saints had 2 pretty favorable matchups. Let's be real. I took them against the Falcons a few weeks ago. They should have lost that game. They just were begging the Falcons to win that game. I don't know. I just think, like I said, it's a perfect buy low spot on whoever's playing them. It happens to be the Rams coming off a loss in a game they have to win. Like Chase mentioned when he was giving his Seahawks recap, that division's wide open. They win this week. Seahawks, they don't got an easy game. They could be right there in first place. So I like the Rams here.
Maxie, thoughts?
Yeah, I think the last point that Sage made is the biggest point. That the NFC West right now is just chaos, and why not just forecast it to be that way the rest of the time? You could have a scenario at the end of this week where the top 3 teams are all 6-6, maybe all 4 if the Niners pull something off there. But I think we're just going to keep seeing chaos out of that division. So right way to lean. The Saints, they have the 2-game win streak with the Rizzler, but I don't take them too seriously in this spot.
Okay, so we all got the Rams there. I'm going to head on to my next pick. So for this pick, guys, it's probably not the most memorable AFC North matchup. You always think about the Ravens and the Steelers or the Browns versus the Steelers. I'm talking about the Steelers versus the Bengals. I'm going to Cincinnati. I'm not going to get any Skyline chili, but give me all the points with the Bengals. They're favored by 2.5. With this one, the Bengals are coming off a bye, okay? The Bengals are 4-7. They're clearly better than that. They've had a bunch of nightmare losses throughout the year. Their defense is not that good. Let's be real. The defense is not good. But this is going to be a kitchen sink game. I have Joe Burrow. The other side has Russell Wilson and Arthur Smith trying to find a way to put up some points. I just don't think they're going to do it. I know that they have 10-day rest, that they played on Thursday Night Football last week. But what I saw is that they got out-physicaled by that Cleveland team. If the Steelers are going to be a team that is going to rely on the fact that they have a tough physical defense and they're going to be able to run the ball on offense to get enough points, I didn't see that in that game last week. I don't know. For me, I had the Bengals by a field goal. I love the fact that I have the hook here. Joe Burrow in a must-win game. Other than Patrick Mahomes, I trust him the most in the league. And I think that Cincinnati crowd is going to feel it. They hate Pittsburgh. The crowd's going to be rocking. I know, 4-7, -2.5. Usually that's not a smart play, but for me, it's still the right play. I got the Bengals here, -2.5. What do you both think about that?
You hate Mike Tomlin so much.
It's just a stay away from me.
I just don't think that the Steelers are a legit team. I had the better quarterback. I had the more desperate team. Like I said, this is a kitchen sink game. I think that they win by a field goal. That's all.
Let me break it down from both sides here because it's a stay away from me. I mean, you guys know my philosophies. I take the AFC North when I get a home dog. Steelers, I know I get it. Bengals coming off a bye. Steelers coming off the short bye or the whatever you call it, coming off Thursday Night Football.
Yeah,
loss
short bye. Short bye sounds good.
to the Browns. Tomlin as a road dog in division is always scary to bet against, but like Chase said, it's a kitchen sink game for the Bengals coming off a bye. It really just comes down to who has the best unit on the field, who has the worst unit, and it's the Bengals for both, right? They got the best unit in their offense, but they also got the worst unit in that defense. So it's just such a 50-50 game for me. And you look at the other side on Pittsburgh. They're kind of just like figuring it out. Like they somehow like they're like almost the Chiefs, but not. Like they win games where you're like, how the fuck did they do it? With the Chiefs, it's like they're the Chiefs, but the Steelers, like, do they have many confident wins? The writing's kind of been on the wall. And you saw it come to fruition in that Browns game. Like, that Ravens game that they won, they should have lost that game by 10-plus points. Like, it's just coming down to, like, kind of bullshit. Like, the ball just breaking their way when it needs to. Justin Tucker missing field goals, whatever it may be. I don't think they're a very good team. If, gun to my head, I had to bet it, I'm on the Bengals here. So that's why I stayed away. I do like the side. Like you said, less than a field goal. I think it lands right on that number.
Maxie, let me hear it, baby.
Tie game. Do you trust Russell Wilson to go get him a field goal? No. Do you trust Joe Burrow? You do. So,
I do trust Boswell to make the field goal
That is true.
over McPherson to make the field
McPherson's been a
goal.
nightmare.
So, in that situation, yeah, I AFC North. I just always feel like you go with the underdog. You
Higgins
go with
playing.
the better coached team. There's no reason why the Bengals should be 4-7. There's no reason why they should lose this game to go 4-8. Like the three best players on the field are all on the Bengals, other than T.J. Watt.
I was say, put some respect on T.J. Watt's name.
T.J. I meant just like offensive players, right? Like you're taking Burrow, T, and
Absolutely.
Waller. So there's no
I
reason
don't
why
know.
they should.
Pickens over T could be a debate,
No,
but for the sake
stop
of
this.
argument here.
Get the fuck out of here, Sage. What are you talking
I
about?
asked Chase about T. Higgins.
Okay,
shout
so
out-
all right. So you know what? We're going to start getting more of a following here. Let's just bring this up because whenever we have Max on, I'm sure he won't be able to shut the fuck up about it if T. Higgins is ever brought up. We played in the fantasy playoffs a couple years ago. Max was on the route to his first championship. I'm still yet to get that. Yes, first round of the playoffs. But my team's 11-1 this year. I'm going to try to get it. But a couple years ago, Max had T. Higgins. I think T. Higgins went off for what, Max? 35, 40 points. How much was it?
It was 195 and 2 touchdowns from my man.
So T. Higgins is a nightmare in my fantasy history. And Max, whenever he has an opportunity to, always brings it up. So
Absolutely. But
if he ever throws that joke in my face, that's what it means. All right, guys. So we paused a little bit. We watched the end of that Chiefs-Raiders game. And
Devil fucking magic.
Devil magic. Devil magic by the Chiefs. Get them to win again. I mean, you guys were watching the game. I was just kind of hearing your reaction. What exactly happened? The Raiders just fumbled the snap on the game-winning field goal?
It's everything that scares me about a potential playoff game against the Chiefs. Just every bounce that happens is going to go their way.
Chase.
Seeing this happen, it's just, oh my God.
Chase, when we were on Cohn's show and he asked you why the Niners are 5-6, what did you deduce it to?
I said that the 49ers are 5-6 because God hates the 49ers.
And who does God love?
God loves the Chiefs. It seems
For
like
whatever reason.
It seems like God just loves whatever team has the best quarterback in the league. It was the Patriots for about 20 years. Now New England seems like a godforsaken place where nothing good football-wise happens, and it's all went to Kansas City.
It's just it happens, like you say, like, oh, they should have lost to whatever, the Browns. I mean, I guess not the Browns, the Broncos, but they're not terribly coached. But it's on the Raiders, man. That's just being horribly coached. You're not on the fucking same page as everyone else. Like, I don't know. We could get back into our picks there, Chase. I know we're going Snake. You just gave us who?
So I gave you guys the Bengals minus
Bengals.
-2.5. So for my next pick, Sage, I picked them last week. I'm picking them again this week, I think with the same line. So I'm going Seahawks. I'm going Seahawks minus 1.5 in New York against the Jets. And when I think about this one, guys, what have I been saying all year? What have I been saying all year? The Jets are not serious people. They're the Logan Roy, not serious people of the year. It's a joke. I mean, when I'm looking at the Jets right here, they're coming off a bye week. Are we sure that's good? Are we sure that's good?
Off buys.
Every single, like, this is a nightmare, toxic workplace, and they just had to sit in it for 10 days. They couldn't even get a game in there to maybe switch up some momentum. It's bad. Okay, I get that Breece Hall's going to play, but Aaron Rodgers was asked about how he felt when Joe Douglas got fired as the GM, and he said he was saddened but not surprised by it. It's like, yeah, no shit, dude. You were probably the one who fucking stabbed him in the back at the end of it to get him fired. So the Jets are a mess, and when I'm looking at the Seahawks...
Chase, did you hear the story behind that?
They're on a nice win streak. What?
Did you hear the story behind that? About
no, I didn't. Go ahead.
So apparently, the owner, I'm blanking on his
Woody
name.
Johnson.
Yeah, Woody Johnson. He flew into their practice facility in a
Also, it's
helicopter.
kind of weird that a guy has first name and last name that are both nicknames for Cox, but continue. Woody
Dick.
Johnson.
Okay, so apparently he lands.
People
on
forget
the practice facility in his helicopter, and Joe Douglas looks to his assistant and says, "If this is my last day working for you, it's been a pleasure." And then got canned 3 hours later, as the story goes. So please continue.
Yeah, but so that's what's going on with the Jets. Nightmare situation, but the Seahawks are on a nice winning streak, man. I mean, whatever changes Mike McDonald made with that linebacking core, bringing in Ernest Jones, has helped significantly. I mean, this was one of the worst run defenses in the league. They've done good the past couple weeks, did well against the Niners, did good against the Cardinals, and this offense is talented. I mean, I don't know if DK Metcalf's going to be playing, but you got the Geno Smith. You got the Geno Smith revenge game factor as well, going back up against the Jets. We're not Geno Smith guys. We're not like Steven Ruiz at the Ringer. Shout out Steven Ruiz. But I just trust the Seahawks team. They're more desperate. I feel like after those big couple divisional wins that they feel like they can sniff the playoffs again. The Jets already know that they're done. Toxic situation over there. All I got to lay is 1.5. So if the Seahawks go on the road, win by 2, I win the bet. Give me that all day. I got the Seahawks minus 1.5.
Max, you go first here.
Don't love this one. I never feel good about the team going from West Coast to East Coast.
Max, this isn't the 60s, bro. Okay? We're not hopping on choppers to go into Vietnam anymore. They're going to be in first-class situation. They could just, I mean, that 5-hour flight is nothing, so I get where you're coming from, but I just don't think that that's that much of an impact anymore.
Sure, but you have a team in the Seahawks just came off a very tough division matchup. They finally got back to the top of the NFC West. Just seems like a letdown spot, even though the Jets have kind of been in chaos all year long. Coming off the bye, maybe this is like their last, like, hey, let's go win one more game.
Mortgage on the line. You betting Jets plus 1.5, or you betting Seahawks minus 1.5?
Oh, I'm not a fool to put a mortgage on Aaron Rodgers.
Terry and Dave's mortgage on the line. Who you betting? Who you laying that mortgage on?
Neither.
If you had to.
If I absolutely had to?
Yeah.
God, this is like impossible. This is why I don't bet.
Exactly. That's the Jets. That's the Jets for you.
Yeah, exactly. But like I said, you'd feel good putting your mortgage on Geno Smith because I wouldn't.
I like the Seahawks team a lot. I'm actually kind of scared of them.
Okay.
Okay, you could be scared.
Like I said, you've been hot lately, so it's hard to go against you. But I don't know if I see this one the same way. But
I'm like Ricky Bobby right now, baby. I'm on fire.
Okay, I mean, this is like one where I see both sides of it. Like, I just think the Seahawks are a better team. All the sharp money's coming in on the Jets, and then now it's coming in on the Seahawks. So you see the line move. It seems like people really aren't too sure of it. The line moves to the Jets. Now it moves back to the Seahawks. What does this remind you of? Seahawks Cardinals, another, within 2-point spread. No one knows what the fuck to do. Chase told me he knows what to do. I'm gonna trust him.
I know what to do. This is my grab onto the cape, don't let go game of the week.
So I don't know what to make of this
Book
Seahawks
it.
team. I know what to make of this Jets team. They're a disaster. Breece Hall's banged up. I know he's gonna play, but why would I bet on Aaron Rodgers? I mean, what makes me say that I'm gonna bet on Aaron Rodgers on this Jets defense that's underperformed all year? The Seahawks are actually playing for something. The Jets aren't. You hear the talks that Aaron Rodgers is probably his last year in New York. They've quit on the team. They're on their interim coach, interim GM. I mean, and you're going against a good organization with a coach and a defense that's trending upwards. I like this pick, Chase.
Thank you, baby. All right, Sager. I think this is your third pick, right?
This is my third pick right here. I'm going Vikings -3.5. I love that 3.5. It's a nut hair game, chest hair game. Got to swallow the hook, but I just think the Vikings at home are a different animal. I said it last week in our recap, but they're just that team that everyone was waiting to fall on their face, and they just haven't. I mean, Justin Jefferson, back-to-back quiet weeks. I think he's going to fucking demolish that Cardinals secondary. You got Addison. You got that run game going. Hawkinson, week by week, is getting better and better. I think they're going to be able to move the ball on the Cardinals with ease. And then on the other side of the ball, the Cardinals, when they lose, what do we see? The run game gets stymied. I mean, go play against one of the top 3 run defenses in the league. Do it on the road. You saw what happens when good quarterbacks go and play in that Vikings atmosphere in Minnesota. I'm not saying Kyler's not good, but I'm not saying Kyler's bad, but I don't think he's good. You saw what happened last week. Kyler's going to Kyler. Like, there's some weeks Kyler just
Jekyll and Hyde, baby. They've been Jekyll and Hyde all year.
looks like one of the worst quarterbacks in the league. Single-handedly maybe lost in that Seahawks game, had the chance to steal the momentum through one of the worst picks you'll ever see. And I don't think I trust him to go into Minnesota and keep this game close. I think it's going to be a blowout. I like the Vikings here fighting for something, trying to keep the Packers off them, Lions right there. They look gettable. So I like the Vikings here -3.5. Thoughts?
What do we think about the Daniel Jones signing? Is that a sign of anything to come for this year? Is it insurance? I feel like it's a little fucked up. I sense something being a little fucked up with this.
I think it's one of those things where Darnold's going to go get another contract in the offseason, and you're going to have J.J. McCarthy coming back, and it's going to be his starting job next year. So start getting your next backup ready. It seems like Daniel Jones and O'Connell have some sort of connection where they really like each other. Get him in the building now just in case anything happens to Darnold before the playoff run, and you just kind of keep him in the building, keep him around, and
how many years is his contract for? Is it not just to the end of the year? How long do they sign him for?
For Jones?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just till the end of the year, but that doesn't mean he's not going to come back.
Seems like he wanted to be there too, so I feel like him re-signing isn't the end of the world.
Okay, but for this game, this is what I'll say. I agree with you, Sage. So I think this was probably my fifth or sixth pick. Like, I felt good about this pick. Sam Darnold's shaky. I mean, we all know that, but they're coming off 4 straight wins.
He has been playing well.
He's played well the past couple games, right? But before that, it was kind of a nightmare. They're trying to keep up with the Lions in the NFC North, and the Lions are going to keep on humming, so you got to keep it going. We know about that defense. It's an elite defense. The Cardinals just put up 6 against Seattle. Their defense is a little bit middle of the pack. I think Gannon's made that defense more solid than it should be, but I have complete faith that the Vikings and their weapons are going to be able to move the ball. Like you brought up, Sage, Jefferson hasn't really opened up lately. I feel like this may be the game against a couple of quarterbacks that we brought up all the time. Starling Thomas, Sean Murphy-Bunting, one of the worst cornerback duos in the league. I think that him, Naylor, Addison are going to be flying around. That home crowd in Minnesota is different. I mean, that actually is a home field advantage. Cardinals, Maxie, you're the cross-country guy. That's a long flight from Arizona to Minnesota.
Worked for United.
He worked for United back in the day. I don't know. I got Minnesota here. I think that's a good pick, Sager.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's the Vikings' first home game in 3 weeks, so they're excited to get back home, play in front of those fans, and I think -3.5 there's a gift.
Okay, so this is going to be my last pick, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so for my last pick, this is something that you'll see with me, and I think that this is honestly something that a lot of people should do when they're humming. Don't switch it up, baby. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, okay? I go with most of the teams that I've been going with all year. If you've been listening to the podcast, you could pick up a trend a little bit. I'm going with the Ravens, -3.
Yeah.
They're taking on Philadelphia, and everybody is starting to suck off Philadelphia. Everybody's talking about how Saquon's the MVP. The Eagles, it's a two-man race between the Eagles and the Lions. This is what I'll say. The Eagles are going to come into this game a little bit banged up. You got to know Darius Slay. It seems like Devonta Smith's questionable. But the reality is that this is the number one side of the week, okay? Because a lot of people are going to be picking the Eagles. They're going to say, oh, you're giving me 3 points with the Eagles? I'll take that all day. Lamar's 23-1 as a starter against the NFC, okay? I know that that's the stat that everybody hears, but there's a reason for it, okay? People are not able to adjust to Lamar's speed in practice, especially if you've never played him before. I get it. The Ravens are coming off a one-day arrest. I think that John Harbaugh against Nick Sirianni is a complete mismatch. The Ravens have a great run defense too. So in a lot of these games where the Eagles have blown up the other team, it's come off of these big Saquon runs, these 80-yard, 75-yard runs for touchdowns where they just gash that D-line. I don't think that's going to happen against the Ravens. I think they're going to do a good job of stopping Saquon. They're going to force Jalen Hurts to beat them in the pocket, and it's been a little bit quiet. He has a bunch of rushing touchdowns, but Jalen Hurts is still shaky in the pocket, guys. This is not the guy that we saw in the Super Bowl against the Chiefs a couple years ago. He's been struggling turning the ball over in the pocket. I think he's going to have some struggles against this Ravens defense, especially if Devonta Smith doesn't play. Give me Lamar. Give me Derrick Henry. Give me John Harbaugh. I'll lay the points. I like the Ravens -3.
So you bring up that stat 23-1, but do you know what it is against the spread? I don't have it exactly off my head, but I know it's.
I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit what it is against the spread because
they're
going to win this game, and I think that they're going to win by a field goal. If anything, I tie on a field goal win.
I think it falls on the number too. I think they're both really good teams. Like I was making the case for the Eagles earlier, but I really like this Eagles team. I think they're hot. I wouldn't want to fade them, but it's kind of like a perfect situation. I feel like every hot team that is the new media darling, the team that everyone wants to see, whenever they go into Baltimore, they just get their asses kicked. It just feels like it's rinse and repeat with that. So I was looking at this game, I really wanted to bet the Ravens, but I just couldn't do it because I just love this Eagles team too much. But it's interesting, right? We're going to really see who's the top dog, right? Like whose will is really going to be tested here because Eagles, for my money, are the best rush team in the league. I think they have the best run attack in the entire league. Ravens, best run defense in the league. Going against each other, we'll see, who outmans who wins that matchup. I think that's going to be the key. Two teams that like to possess the ball, two teams that, run heavy, like to kind of dominate you, wear you down. I'd rather have the home team, even if I got to swallow the points in the field goal. I like the side you're on, Chase, but can't say I love it.
I couldn't agree more with Chase. I think
Thank you, baby.
Nailed every point.
You're a Ravens hater, too.
I am.
You are a Ravens hater.
Max is a Lamar critic. If Lamar Jackson has one hater on earth, it's Max Dines. If there is none, Max is no longer here.
And
I'm not a fan of Mike Tomlin. Max is not a fan of Lamar Jackson.
Who am I not a fan of?
Oh, God. Where do we start?
Yeah, there's a lot of people. Kyle Shanahan, for one.
But, yeah, coaching advantage, big time in the Ravens' favor. The Lamar stat. This game reminds me of the Lions going into Baltimore last year. It was right when everyone was really starting to like the Lions and were buying in. Ravens punked them. I kind of think that's what's going to happen here. I think Ravens are in a great spot. Even on a little bit of shorter rest, I think Chase nailed it. Ravens all the way on this one.
Sager, last pick, right? Let's get into it. What's going on? Who's back there, bro? Is Pesto over there?
Bills -6.5.
Oh, my God.
I don't want to shout it here, but
Judas.
I hate it.
Judas.
I hate it, obviously.
Want to know this year when you take the team playing the Niners.
Cover that up. I just think
Turn Joe Montana's face around.
Yeah.
Please. Don't let him see this.
I made a living. I do this podcast, and I hopped on here. I said I think the Niners are going to get blown out. I bet with my heart. Or I bet with my brain, not my heart. I root with my heart, but I just think it's going to be an ass kicking. If Brock plays, he's going to be compromised. You want to get my full rundown, you could, rewind to the start of this video, but I just don't think they're going to be able to keep this thing close. Like I said, Buffalo, they're heavyweights. They want to knock you out. They want to go for the throat, and I just think they're going to embarrass this Niners team. So what they do on Sunday Night Football, I gave you my score prediction. I think it's going to be more than 6. I don't think it's going to be close. Bills are maybe the healthiest they've been all year. They continue to add bodies. We saw the Niners injury report. It looks like my laundry list, like my grocery list, and it's key players,
You don't cook, motherfucker. Don't try to lie. You ain't got no grocery list.
Pesto, drop it in the chat. Let them know what's up. I'm a chef.
That's right. Give some shout out to Pesto, please.
Need it.
But I just want to say, going back, I don't know. If I'm wrong here, I hope I'm 3-1, and I hope it's an outright win, but I just gotta make the pick with my heart because we're so limited here. Chase didn't want to record on Wednesday. I would have had the Packers in this spot. You saw what happened, and I don't know. I feel ashamed. I had to whisper it, but Bills -6.5.
Sounds like an excuse, Sage. You're telling me that the Packers would have been one of your picks. I mean, come on, bro. Try and blame me. Try and blame me for that. I mean, we all know I said that it was going to be.
You did say they'd cover, so I don't.
I did say it was going to be 49ers 24, or sorry, Bills were going to win 24-20. I'm not going to lie and say that it was an optimistic view from a Niners fan on how the game was going to go. But it's not a bad pick at all. I mean, the Bills are at home. It's going to be 25 degrees. It's going to be snowing.
We're also still not sure if Purdy's playing. Like, it's not 100%.
We're not sure if Purdy's playing. We know that Nick Bosa's not going to play. We know all those other guys aren't going to play. So it's going to be a tough spot for the 49ers. This is a game where if honestly the Bills go up by a touchdown early, it may be a complete ass kicking. You may cover by a couple touchdowns. So even though I disagree with you from the prediction earlier, I can't say it's a bad pick.
Say it is Brandon Allen, right? What do you think?
Yeah.
What do you think the line is?
11.5.
11.5. Chase, what do you think?
I think that's smart. I think it's at least a 4-point swing.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's what I think too. I think I have a chance here
because that's what we saw in the Packer game. I mean, what did it eventually get up to in the Packer game?
It got up to 6.5.
6.5, right?
And
I think
it might swing more because they saw what the Niners look like without Purdy. Now they have some experience, something that they could go off of. So I think you're just getting the line at a good price. Buffalo off a bye. I mean, I'm ashamed of it. I'm embarrassed. Bills -6.5.
Hey, there's room on the bandwagon. We know how you feel about the Niners right now. Don't be ashamed of it.
Nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo
Bills.
Come on, Josh.
So, Max, I think a lot of people in the chat who are watching may bring this up and think, oh, okay, we have a Bay Area Bills fan who lives in San Francisco but obviously likes the Bills. The Niners are playing the Bills out in Buffalo. Why did you not go to the game? Why was this not the game that you went to with a couple of your buddies? Maybe people are questioning the fact. Maybe people are questioning the fact that you're actually a Bills fan with this one. But just if that does come up, what's the excuse?
I mean, I got the United shout out a couple minutes ago. The boys brought up how I used to work at United. This is just experience flyer 101. Who the hell would fly into Western New York in the beginning of December? I'm like these guys. I have a living. I have to go to work on Monday. Will I still jump through a table on Sunday? Maybe. There's absolutely video evidence of me doing that before. Maybe the boys pull up to North Star. I don't know.
Max would get broken by the table. He's a 75
Now you're thinking, Maxie. Now you're thinking. Is this a North Star game? Is this a North Star game?
It's been talked about.
Max, would you come up to the city to watch at North Star?
I wouldn't rule it out.
I don't think there's
I need confirmation. I need confirmation right now. I ain't going to go to a fucking North Star to watch the Niners-Bills game in a Buffalo Bills bar if you're not going to be there. Let's be honest.
You're going to be down by 20 at half. Why would you even want to go out in public to watch this?
Yeah, this might be a spend some time with the loved ones kind of game.
Oh, yeah. Still my line right from me. I did put in that yesterday, though, so I don't know if I'll be doing it Sunday. I think I need a break.
That's true. You might need some separation. Maybe it is a North Star game.
This might be a Glicked Sunday, little Wicked Gladiator type vibes. Maybe take a break.
So that's what I think I actually might do tonight. I might go watch Gladiator. I'm not going to lie, guys. I'm not going to watch Wicked unless I had a girlfriend or something. That'd be the only way that you could get me to go watch Wicked. But it seems like you've already watched, Sage, right? Or are you on track to watch? When are you getting your Showtime of Wicked in?
I watched Gladiator 2 last Saturday in the day.
All right, no spoilers, but what'd you say? Good watch? Or I've kind of gotten mixed reviews. I heard a couple guys thought it was good. A couple guys thought that it was not that good.
I'm spoil one thing. I wish that they kept.
You better not spoil anything important, motherfucker.
No,
I'm important.
I won't.
I'm actually excited for this one.
Tiny detail. I wish they kept it realistic. I just wish they kept it realistic. I hate that they kind of went with the sci-fi route a bit with it. They try to go over the top with the production. Chase, you'll know what I mean when you watch it. I'm not going to give it away, but there's some unrealistic shit. Like there's some shit in there where it's like, okay, this is impossible. This doesn't exist. So it's like, how could this happen? We could debrief, but it's kind of getting to the point with you watch part of my take with The Sopranos. Like, if 2 weeks passes, expect some spoilers, motherfucker. You're on the shot clock, right? You got a certain amount of time before spoilers are going to be out there. So, I'll give you this weekend to watch it. If not, we could recap on the next episode. Which does bring me to my next point. I mean, we do want to kind of get into the movie scene more, maybe talk some movies. So let us know in the comments if you'd like to see us do it on this podcast or maybe like 20-minute clips here and there.
I'm actually down with that. So let's do that, Sage. So we're going to post this to YouTube. If you want to see the boys do a movie review, we'll say maybe the movie that gets the most comments or likes combined. We'll do a review of that at some point in the next couple weeks.
Don't give the trolls options, bro. We gotta.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You know what? Fuck it. For the first one, we may have to learn from our mistakes. No matter what happens, we're gonna throw the first one out. Who knows, Sage? You might have to do a rewatch of Brokeback Mountain. I know that you love that movie, so I've never seen it. I want to see it maybe for the first time, so we can maybe do a review of that. But put that in the YouTube chat. That's going to be it for the episode today, guys. Niners are going to be taking on the Bills on Sunday Night Football. We're going to get back to you on Monday to see what happened in that game. We did our 4 best bets. I'm up one game on Sager. We'll see what happens at the end of it. But, Maxie, it was a pleasure having you on. We're definitely going to have you on for the rest of the year, especially as we get into the playoffs, because I think your Bills are going to be taking care of business. They're my Super Bowl pick right now, so we're going to be hearing a lot from your team coming up.
Like I said, there's plenty of room on the bandwagon. Would love to have you guys.
I'm on for this.
Go Bills. Thanks for having me, boys. This was a lot of fun, and let's keep on going.
Chaser.
Sager, any last words here?
Nothing much, boys. Hope to win some money, spend some time with the ones you love. Maybe if you need a break, take a break. I won't advise it this weekend. That's it for me, Chase. Tell them when we'll talk to them.
Yeah, so we're going to talk to you guys on Monday. If the Niners do lose, find something in your liquor cabinet to get over it and then listen to us on Monday. Okay, guys? That's when we'll see you. Talk to you guys later.